Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski with the latest local news, including 2 teens wanted for a Texas murder found in Ansonia last night. And later, we run down the top stories across all of our news sites this week. Frank Granito will have a look at your forecast and a Nutmeg Sports update, and Donald Ang will join us later to take a look back on this day in history. But first, Ansonia Police last night captured 2 fugitives out of Texas wanted for murder. On January 11th at 9:52 p.m., the Ansonia Police Department arrested 19-year-old Giuseppe Bergoglio, age 19, of Katy, Texas, and his 17-year-old female companion as fugitives from justice. Now, Bergoglio and the juvenile were both wanted by the Strafford Police Department in Texas for a murder that occurred on January 1st. Now, they were taken into custody without incident at 23 Beverly Drive in Ansonia. In addition to the murder warrants, the juvenile was also reported to be a missing person. Now, Giuseppe Bergoglio was charged with being a fugitive from justice and held on a $250,000 bond. He was set to be arraigned in Derby Court today. The 17-year-old female was taken to a juvenile detention center to be held for extradition to Texas. Now, these arrest warrants were a joint investigation between Ansonia Police, the Shelton Police Detective Bureau, as well as the Texas Rangers and the Stafford, Texas Police Department. Those suspects were taken into custody with some help of Ansonia, Shelton, and Derby Police Departments. And in other news, a decades-old hand grenade was found at a Strafford Waste Management facility on Thursday afternoon. Strafford police said the grenade, which appeared to be from World War I or World War II, was found at the All-American Waste on 80 Garfield Avenue. Now, police said the grenade was apparently discarded with garbage that ended up at the facility. Employees alerted police to the explosive, and the State Police Bomb Squad responded to disarm and remove it from the facility. Now, that scene was cleared without incident. And a West Haven parent was arrested at a high school basketball game at Milford's Foreign High School January 10th after allegedly kicking a coach in the groin. Now, police say 52-year-old Tara Severino of Ocean Avenue, West Haven, struck a male basketball coach in the groin because she wasn't pleased with something that the coach did. Now, the incident happened just before 7 p.m. Severino was charged with assault and breach of peace. She was released from police custody on a promise to appear in court on February 6th. And a Norwalk man hired to plow snow outside of the Darien Fire Department was charged with breach of peace after damaging a guardrail and creating a disturbance in the department's parking lot. Now, a complainant told police that Gregory Twardy, who's 49 years old, had plowed the rear lot of the Darien Fire Department earlier in the day and had returned several hours later, beeping his horn. Now, the complainant said that Twardy used his plow to destroy a wooden guardrail that's occasionally used as a bench by the fire department. He then allegedly lifted his plow and dangled it from chains over the complainant's vehicle. The complainant left the firehouse to confront Twardy, who allegedly said, "I thought it would get your attention." He then left the scene without further incident. Well, though fire department officials said they did not want to press charges for the damaged property, police spoke to Twardy at his home in Norwalk. He said the complainant had requested that he plow the lot and he did not realize that he had damaged any property. Well, when asked about raising the plow over the complainant's car, he said that "she knows me" and he had done it as a joke. Well, Twardy was then issued a misdemeanor summons for breach of peace and is due in court on January 16th. In other news, Ridgefield town leaders and members of the community were quick to condemn the latest act of anti-Semitic vandalism, which struck Main Street this past week. Now, Ridgefield police are investigating 5 swastikas that were drawn on doors and signs at both the Aldrich Museum and the Masonic Lodge between Sunday, January 7th and Tuesday, January 9th. Richard Klein, the co-director at the Aldrich, said staff and trustees of the museum were saddened and disappointed by the hateful act, particularly in light of the upcoming Martin Luther King holiday. Now, Klein said in part the repeated incidents of racist graffiti in Ridgefield are extremely troubling. He said these odious acts help remind us that eternal vigilance is truly the price of liberty and that every day our values as Americans need to be nurtured and reinforced. First Selectman Rudy Marconi said he suspects the person involved is likely a juvenile and that he wouldn't be surprised if the same person is responsible for the incidents of racist graffiti found in Ballard Park. Marconi said in part the individual should be concerned because we do have cameras and we will be reviewing them. Marconi said that they would be much smarter coming forward and admitting to this act and taking responsibility than waiting for an investigation to be concluded. There's much more on that story at theridgefieldpress.com. And hundreds of state transportation projects totaling $4.3 billion will be held up indefinitely until Governor Daniel Malloy gets the legislature to agree to put more money in the state's Special Transportation Fund. Now, some such projects that could impact local motorists were plans in the works to widen I-95 between Bridgeport and Stamford, and $4.5 million would be cut from planned improvements on the New Canaan rail line. Now, Malloy said on Wednesday, January 10th, that his administration will announce proposals later this month ahead of the next legislative session to get money into that fund and allow projects to go ahead. Now, other projects that had been planned and are now on hold include improvements to the interchange of Route 7 in the Merritt Parkway in Norwalk, as well as resurfacing a Merritt Parkway overpass bridge in Norwalk. The 9-page list issued from Malloy's Office of Projects in Jeopardy includes some smaller projects that are designated as various towns, which include guide rails, retaining wall repairs, and pavement. And with winter in full swing, officials at Aquarian Water Company are warning people not to trespass at local reservoirs when taking part in winter recreational activities. Now, Stephen Stamos, who's Aquarian's manager of natural resources, said over the last few weeks they have seen an increase in unlawful winter recreational activities on their reservoir properties, including walking on the ice. He said they want to remind people that not only is it illegal to be on Aquarian reservoir property, it is also extremely dangerous. At this time of year, ice may appear thick enough to walk on, but officials at Aquarian say this thickness is unreliable and can be deceptive due to the shifting water levels and the thermal undercurrents. All right, well, taking a turn now, let's throw it over to Frank Granito. Frank, speaking of ice melting today, I think that's what we're seeing a lot of.
We are going to see plenty of ice melting today, Kate. It's going to be a little bit warmer out than we've seen these past few weeks, mild as well. Overcast temperatures in the mid-50s. There's going to be on and off periods of heavy rain and drizzle all the way through the evening and overnight. You're going to see fog increasing again later on this afternoon into this evening. We could even see some thunderstorms rolling through the county as well. And again, that flood watch is in effect through 7 p.m. tonight. Showers continuing into tomorrow morning. Still pretty mild out tomorrow. Temperatures in the mid to high 40s. It'll be breezy out though. We'll see wind gusts upwards of 30 to 35 miles per hour. And then all of a sudden, right back comes the cold. Temperatures falling all the way to the low teens tomorrow night. Partly cloudy out. Sunny on Sunday, but it is going to be cold again. Temperatures in the low 20s with the wind chill. It'll feel more like 15. It's going to be down to 11 overnight Sunday heading into the start of next week. That'll do it for this weather update. Let's go back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much. We're going to step out for a break. When we come back, Donald Eng will take a look back on this day in history. Frank has your Nutmeg Sports update, and we have more local news after this. We know it's your busy season, and that's why Walter Stewart's Market is here to make things easy by offering the best of autumn under one roof. Walter Stewart's Market is your local one-stop fall shop. There are so many seasonal flavors to savor, and Stewart's has them all, from Blue Jay Orchard's local cider donuts to Vermont Farmstead cheddar and all of your favorite varieties of local apples and pears. Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street, New Canaan, and find us at stewartsmarket.com.
Want a new experience in car buying? Scamp Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. We are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Come visit our new Ram Truck Center. Our Ram trucks get the job done with unparalleled style and performance. Call, click, or stop in to find the new Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge car, minivan, or Ram truck that you've been looking for. Family owned and operated for over 50 years. Save thousands at the 2018 Auto Show event and Start Something New sales event. Now through January 31st.
At Galt, we always put you first. As your full-service home heating partner, we provide expert delivery, installation, and maintenance for all your heating needs with knowledgeable, friendly professionals that give you peace of mind 24/7. Galt Family Companies, you first since 1863.
If you've ever thought about owning a motor coach or learning about what it's like to travel the open road in superior style and comfort, then contact Dave's RV Center in Danbury, Connecticut. Offering the best quality Class A motorhomes from Newmar, travel trailers and fifth wheel lines from Surveyor, and a toy hauler line from Work and Play. Choose from Newmar's Gas Line, Baystar and Canyon Star, or from Newmar's Diesel Line, Ventana and Dutch Star. And with unparalleled service and maintenance, Dave's RV is committed to keeping you and your motor coach safely on the road and enjoying it to the fullest. Stop by their showroom, 2 Industrial Plaza Road, Danbury, Connecticut, or call 877-483-3866.
Had a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Orthopedics Walk-In Urgent Care gives you direct access to orthopedic specialists fast without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Orthopedics Walk-In Urgent Care can help. Open 7 days a week now at 3 locations. The iPark Building at 761 Main Avenue, Norwalk, 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien, or in the Westport Medical Center at 323 Riverside Avenue, Westport. Go to coastalorthoct.com. Like them on Facebook.
Welcome back to this January 12th edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. It's time to take a look back on this day in history with Donald Eng. Don.
Well, Kate, to paraphrase a popular expression, cold day in Arizona. But first we're going to go to 1969. The New York Jets defeat the Baltimore Colts to win Super Bowl III in what is considered one of the great upsets in sports history. Now, Baltimore had defeated the Cleveland Browns to reach the Super Bowl, both teams now in the AFC, making Super Bowl III the only Super Bowl featuring two teams that are now in the same conference. Super Bowl XLVIII between the Seahawks and Broncos featured two teams that had been in the same conference. In fact, they were both in the same division, but they are not now. To 1981 now, Denver oil tycoon Blake Carrington marries his secretary Crystal in the 3-hour premiere of the classic 80s primetime soap Dynasty. For the next 8 years, the Carringtons and the Colby family would feud like Hatfields and McCoys, plotting against each other, intermarrying at the same time, with storylines featuring kidnapping, terrorist plots, amnesia, suddenly reappearing long-lost twins, and characters coming back from the dead, among other things. Dynasty, more than any other show, best exemplified glorious Reagan-era primetime television. To 2006 now, the U.S. Mint debuts the redesigned nickel featuring a forward-looking Thomas Jefferson, the first president not depicted in profile. Nickels had been circulated since the 1860s, although 5-cent coins called half dimes had been around for about 75 years before that. Jefferson's face first appeared on the nickel in 1938. Believe it or not, Coca-Cola was priced at a nickel for a bottle for 73 years. Since the bottling rights agreement had no expiration date, Coke had basically agreed to sell the product to bottlers at a fixed price forever. And speaking of forever, we go now to 1967 for this.
The possibility of life after death is explored in Phoenix, Arizona by the Cryonic Society. They propose freezing bodies in cold storage capsules. Scientists are mostly skeptical. A model demonstrates how one person, a California man who died of cancer, has already been frozen. A freezing liquid replaces the blood supply, and the subject is wrapped in aluminum foil and placed in a capsule at 220 degrees below zero.
Excited-looking model there at the prospect of living forever. That was Dr. James Bedford becoming the first person cryogenically preserved with the intent of future resuscitation. He was frozen a few hours after he had died of liver cancer. Unfortunately for Bedford, the cryogenic treatment left his brain unprotected for a few hours, meaning that even if the treatment actually worked, he probably can't be brought back. His body remains in cold storage in Arizona. If you want to join him, about $200,000 payable at the time of your death. But the good news is you can probably pay with your life insurance policy. That is your look back in history for today, January 12th, and I'm Donald Eng.
Thanks so much, Don. Well, in other news, the Hour reports that a 28-year-old Wilton man accused of illegal bear hunting in September was granted accelerated rehabilitation Wednesday at Norwalk Superior Court. Antonio Leo was charged with 4th-degree illegal hunting and 2 counts of illegally taking a bear after he was arrested for shooting and killing 2 black bears with a bow and arrow on private property near the area of Indian Rock Place. Now, those charges will be removed from Leo's record if he successfully completes 40 hours of community service and has no new arrests until January 8th, 2020. Now, he was also required to surrender his hunting license for 2 years. Now, this result came as a relief to Leo since he had acted in defense of his property and of his pregnant wife, that according to his attorney Kevin Black. Black said that Leo's wife was fearful of the 2 black bears because they had already caused significant damage to personal property in their yard, including a chicken coop. Now, the Hearst, Connecticut Media newspaper reports that account was hard for a group of protesters to believe. They appeared outside the courthouse for the 3rd time on Wednesday, holding signs that called for further protection of Connecticut black bears and denounced illegal trophy hunting in the state. That's because Leo allegedly skinned 1 bear for a trophy mount and cut off its head and its paws. And in other news, Eversource customers will see an increase in their electric bills, but not as much as the energy company has proposed. Now, Consumer Counsel Ellen Swanson-Katz announced that the Office of Consumer Counsel, along with the designated prosecutorial staff of the Public Utilities Regulatory Authority, have entered into a settlement agreement with Eversource Energy regarding Eversource's application to increase its existing rates in a 3-year rate plan. Now, the settlement agreement filed on January 11th is is subject to review and approval. The settlement agreement provides for new rates effective May 1st and establishes revenue requirements that are substantially reduced from the application, according to Katz. Now, Eversource's application proposed an increase in revenues of $255.8 million for the first rate year, or approximately 6.57% over currently authorized revenues. Now, the settlement agreement provides for an increase in revenues of $97.1 million for the first rate year, or approximately 2.47% over currently authorized revenues. There's much more on that story at aspatuck.news. And Putnam Service Dogs is recruiting volunteer puppy raisers to raise a pup and help change it into a service dog. Now, they will be hosting free informational lunches from noon to 1 p.m. on Saturday, January 20th at the Mill Plain Diner in Danbury, as well as Saturday, January 27th at the Putnam Diner in Paterson, New York. Now, Putnam Service Dogs plan to start 2 new classes of puppy raisers in 2018 in February and October. Volunteer puppy raisers are expected to attend weekly classes from the time they're given a puppy of 10 weeks until the puppy is 8 months old. Now, when the pup turns 8 months, they'll attend classes twice a month, led by the Putnam Service Dogs trainer, Donna Gleason. And now, starting at age 16 months, the trainer will take over the training and will train the puppy to perform the task needed by their matched recipient. Raisers will be sharing their home and living with a dog for about 20 months if they make it to graduation. Now, they currently have 11 applicants on their waiting list and only 2 puppies currently in training. Service dogs do change the lives of their recipients. Volunteer puppy raisers are a critical part of that process. Now, if you want more information on that, you can visit putnamservicedog.org or call 917-449-5359. All right, let's throw it back over to Frank Granito now for your Nutmeg Sports update. Frank.
All right, thank you, Kate. We were live at Trumbull High School last night. Boys basketball on the HAN network. The 6-1 Trumbull Eagles hosting the 1-6 Staples Wreckers. Staples came flying out of the gate looking to get that first win in conference play. Luke Murphy and Max Sussman with big first quarter, scoring 6 and 7 points, but that really the only bright spot of the night for the Wreckers as Trumbull would heat up and run away with this one. A 55-41 final. Chris Brown would pace all scorers in the game with 16 points. Murphy would finish with 15 for the Wreckers. Timon Williams also picking up 15 points in the victory. The only other scorer in double digits was Cape Holden. Trumbull now 7-1 on the year. They are 4-1 in the conference, sitting at second place behind Bridgeport Central in the West Division. Staples 1-7, 0-5 in FCI play, still looking for that first win in the conference schedule. Hey, make sure you join us tomorrow from the Darien Ice House, 3:50. It'll be a rematch of one of last year's Division I semifinals. New Canaan hosting Northwest Catholic. The Rams on a 2-game win streak, entering the game after starting the year 0-4. Then after that, we get a rematch of our outdoor game from last week. Greenwich traveling to take on Darien. Should be a lot of fun. That game set for a 6 o'clock puck drop. That'll do it for this Nutmeg Sports update. Let's go back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. All right, we're going to step out for a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the top stories of the week across all of our news sites coming up after this.
Voted Best Gourmet to Go in Fairfield County, Palmer's extensive menu offers everything you'll need to make your next event easy and delicious. Whether you're hosting a small get-together or planning a large celebration, they've got you covered breakfast through dessert. Order online at palmersdarien.com or call 203-655-2077.
Yeah, Dad.
Kyle, I need you to update the financial statements.
I took care of that yesterday, Dad.
Mac, I need you to get those deals approved.
They're all done, Mr. Miller.
Jeff, I need you to order lunch for the meeting. They can't do a thing without me.
Right now, lease a 2017 Sentra S for only $97 a month.
I'm never going to retire.
UK Gourmet is the largest specialty grocer in the area, featuring food from England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Over 80 teas to choose from and a brilliant assortment of biscuits to go with them. Over 70 cheeses from grass-fed cows, which makes a smashing difference in taste. The creamiest chocolate you'll ever taste using no artificial colors or preservatives. So say hooray for UK Gourmet, 78 Stony Hill Road in Bethel, or visit ukgourmet.us.
Dr. Stephen Molinaro and Peter Healy of Family Practice Dentistry and Laser Dental Care have served Ridgefield for over 22 years. Experienced staff offer gentle drillless techniques, preventative care, and cosmetic procedures in a relaxed environment. Grateful for the community's trust and support through the years, new patients and their families are welcome. Call today.
Welcome back to this Friday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, and we're taking a look now at the top stories this week across all of our news sites. Now in Ridgefield, a man arrested for drunk driving close to home Tuesday morning was one of the top stories of the week. A Lounsbury Lane man was arrested for driving under the influence and failure to maintain the proper lane near his home around 11 a.m. Tuesday. Now Ridgefield police say 71-year-old William Burns drove off of the road and crashed his car into a tree on Lounsbury Lane. Burns' car, which slid several feet down a snowy hill, came to a rest on the front lawn of a home, according to the report. Now, police said Burns' car struck a stone wall on the home's property, which helped it come to a rest. Now, Police Captain Jeff Kreitz later confirmed that he had been charged for driving under the influence after patrol officers conducted a field sobriety test. That crash was severe enough to set off the curtain airbags on the driver's side of that car. And another big story this week was news that the union representing teachers at Strafford Public Schools will accept 2 unpaid furlough days as a way of helping the district resolve a $700,000 budget deficit and to avoid more than 40 teacher and staff layoffs. Now, the Strafford Education Association voted on Monday to accept the 2-day furlough plan as presented by Superintendent Janet Robinson. In a statement from the SEA, the union said the Strafford Board of Education will have to find some more sustainable solutions for the financial situation going forward. SCA President Michael Fiorello said in part teachers have voted to sacrifice for their students and colleagues. However, he said this vote is a temporary solution to the larger funding issues of the school district. He said we can no longer downplay the long-term consequences of short-term thinking in Strafford. Now, Superintendent Janet Robinson said on Monday evening that she's relieved that the Strafford Education Association voted to take those furlough days rather than the layoffs. There's more on that story at StraffordStar.com. And another top story this week was more anti-Semitic graffiti in Ridgefield. As we mentioned earlier in the show, the community is now reacting to more swastikas being drawn in public places, this time on parts of the Aldrich Contemporary Art Museum and on the Masonic Lodge on Ridgefield's Main Street, right next to Town Hall. Now, Ridgefield Police Captain Jeff Kreitz confirmed to the press that 5 swastikas, 2 at the Masonic Lodge and 3 at the Aldrich Museum, were uncovered earlier this week. 2 of the drawings were found on doorways and 3 others were uncovered on entry and exit signs at the Masonic Lodge and the museum. Now, symbols of hate and racist words were found at Ridgefield High School and in Ballard Park several times in 2017 and twice in 2016. Police are still investigating. And a story of a 15-year-old Darien girl working to raise awareness about suicide following her cousin's death is one of the top stories this week. According to the Darien Times, Lily Genovese is now committed to ending stigma around depression and suicide following her cousin Sean Rocco Vogel's death back in November. He was also 15 years old. Now, you can read Lily's story at DarienTimes.com, and we hope to have her on an upcoming episode of CT Pulse. And finally, our most clicked on story this week is our first FCAC Athlete of the Week poll for the winter season. Now, you can still get your votes for male and female picks through Sunday night, and winners will be announced on Coffee Break on Monday at 11. All right, let's throw it back over to Frank Granito now for one final look at your forecast. Frank.
Okay, Kate, and again, we're seeing an overcast day outside. Mild conditions, temperatures in the mid-50s range. Going to see on and off periods of heavy rain and drizzle through the evening and overnight. Areas of fog will start to increase again later on this afternoon. A little warmer out again tonight, temperatures in the low 40s. Areas of fog, as we mentioned, we could see some passing thunderstorms as well. Keep an eye out for flooding in certain areas as that severe flood warning continues in effect through 8 o'clock tonight. Showers continue into tomorrow morning. It'll be a little bit warmer during the day mid-40s again, right around 46, but it will start to cool off tomorrow night. Temperatures falling all the way down to the low teens with mostly clear skies overnight. Cold out on Sunday, but at least there'll be some sunshine to go with it. Temperatures in the mid-20s, and then cold again as we see a low of 10 overnight on Sunday heading into next week. That'll do it for this weather update. As Kate said, make sure you get on, vote for Athlete of the Week, and we'll see you tomorrow from the Darien Ice House, 3:50 Game 1, 6 o'clock Game 2. Kate, back to you.
All right, busy day tomorrow on the HAN Network, but we're going to wrap things up here on your Coffee Break. Coffee Break will be back Monday at 11 with the latest local news and more. Have a great weekend.